You're just with Layer. Today I'll briefly take us through how to work with files in Layer. So the first place that we most commonly people using files is essentially by using a file field. And they typically use that file field to upload photos from a punch list exercise or a site observation. So as I'm clicking add files, I'm also adding those files under this tab here. And essentially those files are specific to each of my issues, right? I can see that as I'm navigating through my different issues. Now, one thing to note is that if I click on these three dots, I can see that this specific photo has been associated firstly with my issue, and then also with a file field that I named photos. So if I click here, I can see the different fields that exist in my issues category. And also, again, if I click here and I want to associate this specific photo with a different issue, I can also choose that from here. Pro tip, as they say, right? If I want to keep my file in my element, but I don't want it to see under my photos field, what I can do is I can actually disassociate it from here, right? So now I can see that this photo remains under files, but if I go back to my photos field, that doesn't exist anymore. Where this is useful, it's actually under the reports. We have two blocks that are different. So you can see that the element files here contains the two files that are associated with the specific issue number 1. And then the photos field, which is essentially this one, just only contains one. So that's the main difference. And again, the element files is all the files that are associated with this element. And then the photos, it's just the photos file field. Now, one thing that to note also is essentially that I can mark up this file. For example, if I click on the photo, on the top right here, I have this edit file button. I can click here and then I can annotate on my canvas and create some markups. Those markups are automatically saved and it'll take a second for it to update, but then those essentially become available for my photo and consecutively for my report. So as I'm marking up those items, then those markups again will become available in my photo. Again, like sometimes it takes a second to upload, but you can see those markups here. Now, the other way to work with files is under my files, and those are the project files, as the tab says. I can actually click a file here, and let's say that I want to add a new photo. I can add this photo. And when I'm adding the photo, I can do the same thing as I did earlier. I can actually set it to a specific element, right? So here I can choose which category and which element I want to associate this specific file with. And again, I can also select a field from that site observations category to associate that item with. And obviously, again, I can click here, edit file, and annotate on top of this file. So those are the couple of ways that you can work with files in Layer and associations between elements and fields. Hope this helps.